I started investing in real estate when I was in California. In 2006, prices were skyrocketing, but I bought my first property in Ohio. In Ohio, I was able to buy properties for very, very inexpensive and rent them out for a good amount of money and make like $300 or $400 a month in passive income. And that's what we're talking about today, is how you can actually buy properties all over the country and find good places. But not just that, I'm going to actually tell you some really, really good states as well as cities that you should be investing in. Now, I also want to give you a free course to get started. If you go in the description, I have a link to my free course, my free real estate investing course. I want you to click on that link and get started, or text the word rental to 33777. Rental to 3377. That's that word, rental, RENTAL, to 33777. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click on the link or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Now, I want to share with you, where are my students buying properties right now and where are good places? Well, in reality, it's the Midwest is a great area of the country to invest. If you get down into the Carolinas, down into Florida, kind of scoop around all the rich, expensive, wealthy people up in New York and like Virginia, Washington, D.C. and all that, the DMV, the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, those are kind of expensive. But even there, like in Connecticut, there are some great places there. There are places all over that you can buy and rent out. But let's get into the great cities that you're going to be able to find. Let's start with the states. Let's start with big, broad states. But I just told you the area of the country. Area of the country is going to be the Midwest. The Midwest is fantastic. There are prices that are fairly low. You could buy properties for $50,000, $60,000. You can even buy some for like $20,000 or $10,000. That's right. You could, like, if you're living in San Francisco, your mind's probably just like blown, because $50,000 for a house. Wow, you can't get a shack. You can't even get anything for $50,000. You can't even get a car. Like a Tesla's going to cost twice as much as that. So there are properties and places that you can buy properties for a good price and rent them out really, really well. So I'll give you the area, which was Midwest, down in the Southeast and the Carolinas and Florida. So I'll just talk to you about a few states that are really good to start looking for properties. Now, first one would be Carolinas. So let's start with North Carolina. North Carolina is really, really good. Now, there are some more expensive areas in North Carolina. You can find a lot of great areas where you're going to find homes that are like $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. And, get away from the coast a little bit, you're going to find some really good places to invest. South Carolina as well is going to be a really good place for you to invest your money and buy rental properties. Now, North Carolina is, in my experience, a little more expensive than South Carolina. And again, you get away from the coast, you're going to get better priced homes and lower priced homes, and you're still going to be able to rent them pretty well. Another great place is Florida. Now, Florida, obviously you got a lot of, retirees going there, but at the same time, there are a lot of places that are going to have really, really good properties. Now, Orlando might not be the best place because there's a lot of attractions. Prices are probably pretty high, but there's a lot of places. Florida is a big state. So look for good properties that are going to make you $250 or more every single month. Another great state you're going to find is Texas. Texas is gargantuan. I mean, it's huge. I mean, the people that are from Texas, if they say, "Oh, you're from America," like, no, I'm from Texas, because Texas is huge. But so I currently invest in Texas. I really love Texas, and I invest there. Now, Texas is really, really nice because there's a lot of land, but there's a lot of great properties that you can buy for a relatively low price. Now, there are some areas like Dallas, Fort Worth is going to be kind of pricey, so you might want to stay away from those. But then again, they could find some good properties. But they're going to find some really, really good properties like in all over Texas. So be on the lookout for properties that can make you $250 or more. Also, other great states, Tennessee. Tennessee is also another really good state that you can buy buy properties in and make passive income. Now, if you go to like Nashville, every single state is going to have big meccas or big centers that are going to be a lot of people living in, which makes the prices of those homes really high. So you might want to stay out of those, or at least, try to go around, like go into the suburbs or further out from those, in the little tiny towns. Go someplace else because people still got to live there. They're going to be living there. That's the biggest thing. People have to live somewhere. And so as long as people are there, you're going to find some good properties. make sure you're making $250 or more. Another great state, I personally also invest in Ohio. I really, really like Ohio. I also invest in other states, but another one I invest in is Ohio. Ohio is a great, great state that you can invest in. And all over the state, there are some really, really great properties. Now, I will say there are some bad areas that are, it's really harder to rent. It's harder to find tenants. It's harder to manage just because the economic scale. It's a really economically depressed areas. There are some areas like that. Actually, all over the Midwest, you're going to find some places that you might not want to invest in. I mean, you remember back in 2010 where they literally could not give away homes in Detroit because it was so bad. There were so many that were just dilapidated. Now, at the same time, there are some great places. So places that I would not invest personally, like Illinois. Sorry if you invest in Illinois. I personally wouldn't just because the laws are really, really rough. California, I would not invest. Oregon, I absolutely would not invest. And the reason why is they have laws specifically forbidding you from kicking them out, like evicting them if they're not paying the rent. And you even have to pay for them to move, like pay for their expenses to move. It's just horrible. It's just, there are some states that are bad. Now, next up is I want to tell you some cities that would be actually great to invest in. I'm going to handpick a few that my students are buying some properties in there. Now, I'm going to caveat all this by saying you need to learn how to invest in real estate, because if you just go out and buy one rental property and say, hey, I'm going to buy this property, I'm going to find the first property manager, or I'm going to do my best to, make sure I find the right property manager, trust me, you're going to lose money, or you have a really good chance of losing money. You need to do it right. And to do it right, you got to build the business first. You got to find all the right people to do the work for you, and even find people that are going to find you properties, find you deals. I love working with wholesalers because they make me money because they find properties. And as I'm drinking my coffee, I look through my emails, look through all the different properties that they send me and say, okay, don't like this one, don't like this one. Oh, here's a good one. Let me go ahead and buy this one. So you want to build the business first. And remember, get that free course, masterpassiveincome.com/free course, or text the word rental to 33777. And also in the description, it'll be there. I'm going to show you how to analyze deals. I'm going to show you how to find deals. I'm going to show you how to find property managers, even the questions to ask the property managers and the answers to those questions so you know who to hire. I literally want to walk you all through that stuff, as well as show you how to scale the business to where you can actually quit your job and be done and be successfully unemployed. So on top of that, let's jump into which cities would be a good city to start investing in this year. So I personally think Memphis, Tennessee is a great place to invest. Memphis is really good. Well, here's the thing. I'm telling you, don't invest there unless you know what you're doing. So everybody listening, if you're going to do this, you need to learn. Go to my site, learn everything there, listen to the podcast, learn everything there. But Memphis, Tennessee is a great place to invest. There are some good areas, some bad areas, so you need to make sure that you do it right. Another one would be Cincinnati, Ohio. Ohio is a really good state, and so Cincinnati in there is also really good. There's some bad pockets, there are some good pockets. That's also a good city that you can invest in. Now, I'm not going to get into the details. If you want to get more into the details, go to my show notes page, and it'll be in the description. My show notes page will actually have much more detailed description of each one of these states, each one of these cities. Even I have, like if you go to Zillow, see all that sort of stuff, like criterias and stuff. I have all that inside there as well on the show notes page. So definitely go and check that out. Everything's going to be written out much more. Now, another one that I would suggest is Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas is really good. You're going to find some really good, relatively inexpensive properties that you could rent for more. Now, here's a big caveat, big pro tip I'm going to give you. If you are going to invest in Texas, in Houston, Texas, realize that there are two types of property taxes. One, there's the county tax that you're going to pay, which I knew of when I bought my first property. I was like, okay, I know the county tax. There's also a stupid city tax that pays for basically schools and whatever else. And so here's the lesson learned. I had the county tax at $1,300 a year. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. Hey, I'm going to be making some good passive income. I was going to make like $450 on these properties. But what was sad was after a while, I realized, oh no, this is after I bought the property. Oh no, there's a city tax. And the city tax is like $2,300, almost double how much it is for the county tax. And usually it's only county tax. And so that's why I'm like so thrown off by this. But that is like, what, $3,500 a year in taxes. you need to make sure you account for that. If you're going to invest in Houston, again, this is all about building the business first. You need to know all this stuff. I did everything the wrong way, and I'm showing you the right ways to do it. So I want to show you how to do that. Now, another one would be Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina is a pretty good city to invest in. There's a lot of great properties, a lot of great things out there that you can find. And so you're going to find properties $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, but make sure you find the right ones and buy the right ones. You don't want to buy dumps that you're going to have to put loads and loads of money into. You want to buy ones that are going to make you money every single month. Last one I'm going to give you is Gainesville, Florida. Gainesville, Florida. And again, if you go to the show notes page, you're going to see I have a image that's going to show you all the different properties that are out there. There's so many, like it's literally littered. Actually, every single one of these cities that I'm talking about, there's so many properties inside of a criteria. I think it's a range of like $30,000 at the low and like $100,000 at the high. I even had to get rid of the higher ones, but there were so many in just this price range that it was just like littered of red dots. Like if you go to Zillow, you're going to see this. So go to my show notes page. You're going to see all this stuff. I'm going to explain it all out there. But Gainesville, Florida is another great city that you can invest in and make good money and passive income.